touch on spiritual power. You know, let's finish the deal. You know, so we'll start off. Because you have a lot of scoffers, mockers, you know, mocking the true message, man. And the true message is that salvation is coming to the nation of Israel. You know, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indians, and Seminole Indians. And that's the good news, man. But before that happens, destruction has to happen. The standard is going to be lifted. Let's go to Isaiah 59:19. We'll start with there. We'll just get warm in the spirit. Go to the blue there. We'll get the word spirit.
This is the way. How should I say that in John?
Let's get warmed up.
This is the way.
This is Isaiah 59:19. And the brothers read this, but some precepts are so nice, you got to bring them out twice. You know? This is Isaiah 59:19, and it reads, "So shall they fear the name of Yahweh Bashem Yahshua from the west." And when the Lord put down the ancient Egyptians, the name of the Lord was able to get fame throughout all the land. You had the Hittites come to Joshua and were like, "We're your servants, man." Because of what? Because of the fame of the name of the Lord.
Matter of fact, I want to put the scripture. Because we know that the Yahweh Shema Shah we know that Yahweh Shema Shah had put that fear all throughout the earth, you know what I'm saying, back at the time of the Egyptians by showing his power, showing his wrath, and he's getting ready to do that all over again because we in modern day Egypt right now. Like when you read in Deuteronomy 28:68, it speaks about how we was going to be brought to Egypt all over again with slave ships. Roughly paraphrasing.
And that's how I was just explaining to this Zebulonite. You know, the Zebulonite lady I was teaching back behind the camera. You know, she was asking questions, what's this about? You know, and that's Ezekiel the 37th chapter. You know, when the children of thy people, you know, shall say, what do y'all, can you show me what you mean by these? Like, what's going on here? You know, this is the gospel of the kingdom, man. You know?
But this is Wisdom of Solomon 11. Beautiful. In verse 21. It says, "For thou canst show thy great strength at all times when thou wilt, and who may withstand the power of thine arm." Got it?
You got it. Break it down, brother.
All right. So, Salaki, let me read that over again. It says, "For thou canst show thy great strength at all times when thou wilt," right? Meaning when the Lord desires. You know what I'm saying? Because we've been out here prophesying this thing, speaking about the famines, the pestilences, you know, the sword, so on and so forth for a little minute now. You know, there was an apostle, Ray Millstone, been out here teaching for about, what, 30 years? Something like that, and then they elders before them. So this word has been out for about, you know, a smooth 50 years, if not more. All right? And when we say these things, people say, y'all been saying that. Y'all been saying that was going to happen. My grandmama was saying that's going to happen. But we living in that time now. And the Lord gave us different signs of these things to take place. All right? And that's pretty much the point on that.
Did you get Ezekiel the 12th chapter? Because what Yahweh Bashem Yahshua is really going to do, he's going to cause that proverb to cease amongst Israel, man. All you scoffers and mockers, you're going to be real confounded in the day where, you know, you see those same men who are mocking and scoffing and talking shit as far as on the comment board, you know, out there, you know, being in terror, man. You know, knocking, you punch a Moabite and the dude flies all the way to Hawaii, you know? You see the apostles out there healing people, man. You know, and men have been having visions of the apostles and men getting spiritual power. And spiritual power is all in the scriptures, man. You know? I mean, manna coming down from heaven, you know? In the time of the Maccabees, when the angels came and helped, they smote Heliodorus, they beat the shit out of him.
Yep.
You know? In the time where the apostles were doing the ministry, man, you had men healed right there on the spot. Paul said, get up and walk, you know? And the man was like, all right. Got up and walked, man.
Got up and walked.
And then what they tried to do after that? They tried to worship Paul, and they tried to give a sacrifice to Paul. You know? They're like, man, this is I'll just get the accounts. Acts the 14th chapter. You know?
You can go to grab Ezekiel 12.
Come.
All right, this is Ezekiel 12, and verse 22. It says, "Son of man, what is that proverb that ye have in the land of Israel, saying, the days are prolonged and every vision faileth?" So just like how I was mentioning earlier,
get taken off YouTube. You know? If this is spiritual right here, then why, if you go into the real breakdown and bring news articles out and show that what these wicked elites are pushing is leading towards this, why do these videos get taken down? You know, why aren't the HOI, WFI videos getting taken down on the spiritual thing, man? Because that's not the true breakdown of it. What's coming to pass is eventually Yahweh Bashem Yahshua is going to cause that proverb to cease amongst Israel of those false teachers, man. If you go into that word scoffers in 2 Peter 3:3, it actually goes into false teachers, man. You know?
I want to grab this real quick. This is the book of 2nd Ezra 9.
Yep.
In verse, I'm going to start at 5. It says, for like it's all that is made in the world had their beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. And what does that word manifest mean? It means plain, obvious, clear. It's clear that we in the end. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, if you're living in a damn rock, you're not going to be able to see that. You know what I'm saying? That's why even, you know what I'm saying, when you read the book of Matthew, you good, bro. When you read the book of Matthew, it speaks about, you know what I'm saying, those that are hypocrites, because they can discern the sky, whatever, that it's going to rain. You know what I'm saying? Whatever,
Where your fringe is at, brother.
Right. You know
But if you ask them, what's the name of the Lord? They say Ahia. What's Revelation 13 and 16? What's that word karagma mean? You know?
Cut or an incision.
Yep. And it goes back to karax, you know, graphos, which is what's going to be put inside you to store data. You know, everything that they're going to need, everything that you're going to need to be able to survive in the NWO system and in the B system if you take it. And everything that Yahweh Shem Shai needs to destroy your ass for taking it, man. You know, because you worship the image and you took this man's imprint and incision. You know, we can't even say the word on camera, you know, because YouTube guidelines, man. But those who watch our videos and watch the elders and apostles, you know what we're talking about, man. You know? And you have to give warning of that, man, because that's literally right down the street, man, as far as in the line of prophecy, man. Literally right around the corner, man. It's, you know?
It's definitely here, it's not being pushed. You know what I'm saying? Just like in Australia, it's a lot here, bro. In Australia, they were basically talking about, you know what I'm saying, was it doing away with the ATMs?
Yeah, they snatched up ATMs. And also they were snatching up Aboriginal people and throwing them in those concentration camps, man. You know? And if you do a video on it, it's taken down for medical misinformation, but what are we doing as far as medical misinformation? We're showing the news. You're doing it, and you're making it plain up on tables as far as saying it.
Thing is, you will have, you know what I'm saying, a news site or you know, upload a video talking about the same thing that we're talking about. But they don't get strikes.
We expound and relate it to the scriptures, and all of a sudden it's medical misinformation, it's hate speech, and that's biblical prophecy. You know, because Esau, Edom, you know, that's Job 15 to 21. You know, I'll just get it real quick if I can. Let's get this real quick if I can. Habakkuk 2 and 3. For the vision is yet for an appointed time. And that appointed time, you know, it's literally right around the corner for Esau, Edom to be taken into power. But we're going to speak that into existence through the spirit of power Yahweh Shem Shai with these words. And this is a gift right here, you know. This is also a blessing, man. You know, and call all Yahweh Shem Shai for the spirit, and call all Yahweh Shem Shai for the ability for all those brothers to link up. You know, the brother traveled a long way to come out here and congregate, man. Lubbock, Texas, man. It's a long way, you know. This is Habakkuk 2 and 3. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. And it says the heavenly Father is not a man that he shall lie. You know, so every single one of these prophecies is going to hit, man.
And I got the definition for that word appointed. It says appointed of a time and place decided on, decided on beforehand, designated, scheduled, arranged, agreed, decided, specified, established. Right? But really, the whole point of me grabbing this, the definition for the word appointed is because there's a particular month, year, hour, millisecond, so on and so forth, that one of these prophecies are going to kick off, and we know there's going to be like a domino effect. Because say, if there's an EMP attack, that's going to lead to other different prophecies taking place. Because soon, you know what I'm saying, the storehouses are going to become empty because folks, you know what I'm saying, are eventually going to start running out of food. You know, and that's, what is the 6th chapter, the 22nd verse?
I was going to get something to back you up. This is 2nd Ezra 4 and 36, and it reads, and the angel, and unto these things, Uriel, the archangel, gave them answer and said, even when the number of seeds is filled upon you, for he hath weighed the world in the balance. And that's reminding me of Daniel, the 5th chapter. Thou art weighed in the balances and art found wanted, you know, found insufficient to rule. You know, this is, and it says a false balance or false balance is abomination to Yahweh Shem Shai. He created the wicked to do evil, and he created the servants and prophets Yahweh Shem Shai to do his will, man, to do his work. This is 2nd Ezra 4 and 37. By measure hath he measured the times, and by number hath he numbered the times, and he doth not move nor stir them until the said measure be fulfilled. Break it down, brother.
So I can read it over again.
This is 2nd Ezra 4 and 36. 2nd Ezra 4 and 37. And it reads, 2nd Ezra 4 and 37, and it reads, by measure he had measured the times, and by number he had numbered the times, and he doth not move nor stir them until their said measure be fulfilled.
Come, you know what I'm saying? There's a set time that these prophecies are going to take place. You know what I mean? And like I mentioned, you know, if you really paying attention, you can see that these things, you know, they here, man. You know, you got like the brothers were just touching on. Joe Biden said that there's going to be a famine, you know, coming to the States. And he said it's going to be real because a lot of Jake think it's bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Niggas are able to go up to the street. You know what I'm saying? You got food stops and shit like that. But soon, it's not going to be any of that around. And then that's when you're going to know it's going to be real, man. And then, like it speaks about in Amos the 8th chapter and 11 and the 12th verse, y'all going to go around everywhere looking for the prophets, but you're not going to find us. You know what I'm saying? Because then once these things start to take place, the grace period officially over with. You know what I mean? Niggas so caught up in this damn Christian church. You know what I'm saying? On how they say, oh, we in grace, you can do what you want. But a grace is a short amount of time for you to get your house in order spiritually, you know what I'm saying, before the Lord starts to bring this wrath. You know what I'm saying? Because in these coming times, the only way that we're going to be delivered is through divine intervention, like the brothers were just touching on. You know what I'm saying? When there's a famine, no food in the grocery stores. You know, when you have to take that MOT to the beat in order to so-called, you know what I'm saying, function properly in the society. In that time, you're going to have to fully rely on faith and trust in your high about some outside. You know what I'm saying? But just because you know, you call on the name of the Lord and you playing around right now, the Lord not going to come through for you, man. You know what I'm saying?
There's in the Gospels that men are going to say, you know, Lord, did we not cast out devils in thy name?
Exactly.
That shows you that they're going to have the name and they're going to be still told, depart from me, you worker of iniquity. You know, it says to serve the Lord with fear and trembling, man.
Why? Because you was bullshit.
Yeah.
In that time, you gonna see who was taking advantage of the grace period. You know what I'm saying? Getting their spirit in check, and who was just a bullshit artist. You gonna find out, man. Because it's gonna be obvious. Once the Lord starts to bring that fire, them tribulations. You know what I mean? If your foundation is built upon that sand, you gonna fold, man. That's why it's important to get yourself right now, man. Build your foundation upon that chief cornerstone, which is Yahweh Shai. All right, go ahead, bro.
2 Ezra 14 and 13, because you mentioned setting your house in order. Now, therefore, set thine house in order and reprove thy people.
Which is what we're out here doing. You know what I'm saying? We're out here reproving and rebuking our people. But of course, you know, most Jakes ain't gonna listen, man. Even tell you Amos the 5th chapter, they hated him that rebuked in the gate. Niggas hate correction, man. And that's where the Lord really just gonna purge off the 2/3 of our people because they hate correction.
Go ahead, that draws. Yahweh Shai is going to refine you and make you perfect, whether you want to do right or not. In the form of you being drossed and getting burnt up and being brought back in the kingdom through the loins of the elect, or you being brought through the fire so he can make you find gold. So he can, you know, basically give you the kingdom, man. That's in the first dominion.
That's in Malachi the 4th chapter.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I'm gonna grab it real quick. You can read that.
So yeah. 2 Ezra 14 and 13. Now therefore set thy house in order and reprove thy people, comfort such of them as be in trouble, and now renounce corruption. You know? And Jacob's trouble is literally knocking at the door, man. It's like right, it's staring you down, man.
We in that time. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna grab this real quick so I can cut. It's the book of Ecclesiastes 12 and verse 1. It says, remember now thy creator in the days of thy youth, right? Not just talking about, you know, when you're young, and saying also when you first hear this word, man. Right? Then that's when you're supposed to be turning back to your high by Shema Shai, because the scripture even tells you in Sirach the 5th chapter, make no tarrying to turn to the Lord. Tarrying meaning you waiting. Oh, I'll do it, you know, whenever I, you know, get put in a better situation of like one of my homeboys in the world. You know what I'm saying? I told him about the truth about 3 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Hey, bro, you know, America's gonna get hit with missiles, so on and so forth. And he was like, oh, well, I'll get right with the Lord whenever I get a house, a car, so on and so forth. It's a lot, bro. And a couple months back, this nigga got into a heavy car crash and lost one of his legs. And that's what the Lord said.
In Sirach 5 and 7, it says it's putting it on from day to day.
I'm gonna grab it right now.
He's putting it on from day to day. The brother already got it right here.
Oh, shit. Hey,
Spirit. Sirach 5 and 7. Yep. Make no tarrying to turn to the Lord Yahweh, and put not off from day to day.
Yep.
For suddenly shall the wrath of the Lord come forth, and in thy security thou shalt be destroyed and perish in the day of vengeance.
Hey, suddenly. You know what I'm saying? And when you go into the definition for that word security, it's not talking about protection, but it's also talking about comfortability. You know what I mean? And dude was comfortable. You know what I'm saying? He was making a little money, had a charge on all that, and guess what? He lost all that shit. He lost it all and he lost a leg. That's the Lord bringing that wrath subtly upon you, you know what I'm saying, in a day of insecurity, roughly paraphrasing, man. All right, what you got it?
When they're saying peace and safety, you know, they're in a relaxed mode, you know.
And he thinking that's bad, losing a damn leg, waiting till the Lord, you know what I'm saying, really have Jacob's trouble pop off. You can't run, bro. You can't run. You more than likely not going to be able to defend yourself. You know what I'm saying? And look, he even told me, I wouldn't wish this pain on my worst enemy. But the thing is, the Lord going to put you through some worse shit if you don't get your spirit right.
I got a precept to back you up on that point. This is Sirach, the 40th chapter, and let's start with 8. This is Sirach 40 and 8, and it reads, Sirach 40 and 8, and it reads, yep, I'll get right to the point. Sirach 40 and 8, such things unto all flesh, man and beast, I'll get right to the point. Sirach 40 and 9, death and bloodshed, strife and sword, calamities, famine, tribulation, and the scourge. The name of it, but it was like 12,000 earthquakes, man.
Oh man,
I sent the brother article. Yeah, you want to send that? You want to bring up that article, brother? Look for that real quick. Bubba Show. This is Sirach 40 and 9. Death and bloodshed, strife and sword, calamities, famine, tribulation, and the scourge. And you're going to have Esau Edom be the facilitator of these things. You know, he's the whipping stick. He's the sword. And he's going to be putting people to death. Massive bloodshed because of lack of food and bread, people invading one another. You know, strife. You know, a man's foe shall be they of his own household. My brother did a lesson on people that, as far as their family members turning them in, man. You know, and in the dream that I had, the vision that the brother was bringing up, you know, my own family member called me, man. Basically snitched on me, man. You know, and you're gonna have people's family members, you know, give them up, you know,
especially when it start getting heated out here.
That's why it says count the cost.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Hey, Luke the 4th. Are going to be put to death if that's your life. Why not do it for a good cause? Why not do it for the Heavenly Father? Shit, the Howard shot, he did it for us. I'm saying, so why can't we do it for him? And it's not like you just going to die in vain, bro. You actually going to receive the kingdom of heaven. A real king in the kingdom. I'm saying, under your Howard shot. You can't get no better than that. Even when you read in 2nd Ezra 7th chapter, it speaks about that narrow path that we got to take in order to receive that inheritance. We not just gonna walk into the kingdom like IUIC talking about. Niggas talking about ain't no Jacob's trouble. Like I asked one of them, you know what I'm saying, well, what is Jacob's trouble? And dude told me the curses of Deuteronomy 28. You know what I'm saying? Bug out.
That's crazy. You mentioned the past real quick. Let me get Psalms 86. You know, real quick. Psalms 86. Yep. Psalms 86 and 11, and it reads, teach me thy way, O Yahweh Shem Yahushai, I will walk in thy truth, unite my heart to fear thy name. I will walk in thy truth, and that's that straight gate. That's the path that the brother's talking about. You know, the straight gate means a position of difficulty, man. It's not going to be easy. You're going to be rebuked. You're not going to be right all the time. You know, you're not going to have it all, man. But that's Yahweh Shem Yahushai refining you and making you into fine gold. You know?
I want to grab that real quick.
Let me finish this real quick if I can. This is Sirach 40 and 9. Death and bloodshed, strife and sword. Esau Edom is a sword. Calamities, famine. And what Esau Edom doing right now? Yahweh Shem Yahushai is putting the spirit on Esau Edom to cause a famine in the form of just jacking up prices on everything, man. Because he has an abundance of things in the warehouses and in these concentration camps, you know, and putting these deep underground military bunkers, man. You know, and you have people who are panic buying, you know, and that they're just doing that so the elect can be taken care of, because they're gonna die, man. You know,
like in that movie, The Road. Have you ever seen The Road?
Con.
How you know what I'm saying, the man and the son basically stumbled across that bunker. You had food in there. They had liquor. You know what I'm saying? They was able to shower, so on and so forth. That's gonna be for the elect in these coming times, because even when you read in 2nd Ezra 15 and 57 to 58, if I'm not mistaken, it speaks about how you're gonna have many, you know what I'm saying, that flee to the wilderness and they're gonna die there from starvation. You know, a lot of these cats, you know what I'm saying,
they're gonna be eating themselves.
Yeah,
they're gonna be eating their children. You know,
there's nothing to Salaki, bro. Nothing to that. You know, when you're down from starvation, you start hallucinating.
Yep.
Just like how they show you like on SpongeBob and that little shit. You know, whenever they was in the wilderness and they were starving, you know, they started hallucinating and looking at each other like they was chicken. You know, so you may be looking at your hands and that shit may look like steak or something. And you just start eating.
There was a movie that was done about that in the form of this movie called Alive. I don't know if you heard about it, but it was an actual documentary as far as a real story. And it was about people that, I think they went to Mount Everest or some type of high mountain. And what happened is the people eventually, after they crashed and ended up there, they started eating each other.
Yeah.
Cannibalism, man. And cannibalism is coming back.
That's coming back in a big way because most of these Americans are, you know, gluttons. Can't stop eating. Most of them are obese. So you can just imagine on how they gonna act whenever they don't got any food. Like I brought out this article a couple months back. It's called 9 Meals from Anarchy. And basically what it was going into was it only takes 9 missed meals for someone to start contemplating on committing crimes against their neighbor to get food, so on and so forth. You know what I'm saying? Like you had Alex Jones, what did he say? He was basically saying that he was sizing up his neighbor and preparing himself to eat him if he got to. So you best believe that's gonna come back.
Done. Sirach 40 and 9, death and bloodshed, strife and sword, calamities, famine, tribulation, and the scourge. These things are created for the wicked, and for their sakes came the flood.
Exactly. For the wicked. You know what I'm saying? And going back to the time of the flood, what was happening? You know what I mean? They was doing everything else besides taking heed to Noah. Alright? Because Noah, he was out there for about 120 years telling them, get right, because the Lord finna flood this bitch, man. You know what I mean? And that was that thing that was scoffing because back then in that time, it didn't rain.
Dew.
You know?
Y'all about to shot with
you do.
water the earth through dew, or like a mist.
Like when you wake up in the morning and everything wet just for no reason. That's basically how the Lord kept the earth moisturized back then. You know what I'm saying? So they never even saw rain. So when he was telling them that this is gonna happen, they was like, fuck it. Now you reaching now, bro. You saying the rain gonna start falling from the sky? The Lord gonna open up the floodgates of heaven?
And once again, that's like when the people hear us talk about spiritual power, the chariots, you know, things that are too high for a fool. They can't grasp it, man. Just like they were talking shit and scoffing at Noah back in the day. Yeah, man, what are you talking about some rain?
Right.
Tripping, man. You know, you best believe Noah had scoffers, man. You know, and all of them, what happened when the flood came? They were sitting there choking off their own breath in the water, man. You're gonna have a lot of people in the same thing when the ICBMs come, they're gonna be in the lake of fire, man. You know?
Yeah, literally. All right, I got this. This is the book of Psalms 49 and verse 11, which is primarily going into Esau, but you can also apply this to Jake because Jake is in the same spirit of Esau.
Done.
All right, Psalms 49 and 11. The inward thought is, right? Their deep thoughts that their house shall continue forever.
Yep.
Isn't that what they think of America? They don't ever think that America's going to, you know, be dethroned, so to speak. All right. And it says in the dwelling places to all generations, they call their lands after the names, right? This is primarily talking about the so-called white man, but you would apply this to Jake, man. Because Jake is in their same spirit. They don't think, you know what I'm saying, that we actually have a kingdom coming. They thinking this is it. You know what I'm saying? They can't imagine America being blown up with nuclear missiles. But you best believe it's going to happen, man.
You got Jake saying pray for Ukraine. Because
Right.
they want this kingdom to continue. They want to stay being able to go get, you know, $5 footlongs. You're getting human meat in a lot of those fast food places. If you go get a McChicken, it's found out that pork is in the McChicken now, the chicken nuggets, and it's been traces of human meat found in the McDonald's, man. You know?
Jake think this is the best it can get.
And that's a prophecy as well, because you shall eat your food defiled amongst the Gentiles. You know? You got something, brother?
Yep, Con, it's Psalm 49 and 11. Their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever.
I just run that out.
Oh, you did?
God, I just
Lock
run
it,
that out.
lock it, bro.
That's nah, you good, but that's the spirit.
Some precepts are so nice, you got to read them twice.
This is what they really think.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They don't think, you know what I'm saying, that America is going to be taken out of power, man. But shit, all the signs is in the earth that it's going to happen. You got Moab, you know what I'm saying, Gog and Magog, them Russians. They basically telling America shit, if you feeling frog, get in leak, man. Because that same power that you got, we got it too. Because there was a point in time where America was the only one that had, you know what I'm saying, atomic bombs and missiles, on and so forth. But now everybody got them. That's also scripture because it tells you, let the weak say I am strong.
Yep.
Now you got countries like Iran, they got the same nuclear capability that Babylon does. And they ain't scared to use it.
North Korea wasn't shit back in the day.
Right.
You know, but guess what? Because of Rocket Man, and because he got Russia and China backing him up, you know, he's a threat now.
Yeah, because eventually the Lord gonna raise up all these nations to put their work on Babylon, man. All right. because, you know,
Back it up.
go ahead.
Be ready. This is Proverbs 15:25. The Lord, Adonai Yahweh Shem Yahshai, will destroy the house of the proud. Going into Psalm 49:11. You know, they're thinking that their houses are going to continue forever, man. But the Lord is going to destroy the house of the proud. Who's the proud? Esau, Edom.
Esau, Edom.
You know,
Jake's a part of that shit too. But y'all just as proud as Esau is. Niggas talking about whenever, what is that? Whenever, you know, Russia started to invade Ukraine, you know, so-called, you know, because it could have been propaganda. Yeah. Jake was talking about get a whole hood, 50 track hawks, you know what I'm saying, a perk 30, some blocks and some switches, we'll wipe out the whole army. Man, all right, keep that same energy when the Lord sends your ass over to the so-called Middle East, man. Because when you read the
Ukrainians, man, they're Nazis.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Even when you read the Joel, the 2nd chapter speaks about, I'm gonna grab it.
And all of them are Edomites, man. You know? This is Proverbs 15:25 to wrap it on up. As far as this verse, the Lord will destroy the house of the proud, and he will establish the border of the widow. And that widow is talking about the elect. You know? The woman being Israel, and then the widow is talking about the elect as far as the scriptures parabolic. You know? This is Proverbs 15:26. The thoughts of the wicked are an abomination to the Lord, but the words of the pure are pleasant words. You know? And the word of the Lord is refined, purified 7 times. Let me get that real quick. Psalm 12:6. Just to back up that precept. Psalms 12:6. And it reads, Psalms 12:6. The words of the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahshai are pure words, as silver tried the furnace of the earth, purified 7 times. You know?
And that's what the scripture also mentioned, Ephesians 5:26.
Yep.
Through the washing of the word.
Yep.
This is what actually, you know, because you don't literally have to get baptized. You know what I'm saying? In some dirty water. You know, Luke got all types of different toxic metals, and that's not what cleanses you, bro. Because baptism, what that is all about, is basically purifying your spirit. And we know that now it's through this word.